My name is Tom Ledue, and I am a candidate for the U.S. Senate. I'm a rather unusual candidate. I have not run for elected office before. I've been an educator my entire career. I grew up in Portland, went through the university system, and been a social studies teacher, an alternative ed teacher, an outward bound instructor, every type of coach you can think of. The last 8 years I've been a high school administrator, finishing up as a principal of Noble High School last spring. And I am running very basically because I have 4 daughters at home and a wonderful family, and I've had a wonderful life here in Maine. And it seems to me that the prospects for that, for our kids, and for all the people we care about, is becoming less and less. And it seems to me that their future looks much less promising than the future I was looking at when I was 17 years old, or 12, or 5. And it doesn't seem to me that there is enough urgency in Washington to address the needs that we have. Too much now, we're resembling a corporate structure rather than a democracy that is of the people, for the people, and by the people. And I believe we need more and more candidacies, uncommon candidacies like this, where people, just like the people in this room, and I consider myself one of you, are willing to go to help lead and recognize that we don't need another career, but we need to go help serve and participate. And I believe that while I'm an uncommon candidate, I'm also a very capable candidate, and that I would go to Washington as your leader to represent you, to listen to you, and to work for the things that matter, because my experience has been rooted in the everyday lives of Maine people and serving thousands of students and their families over the years. When you look at what would you do there, Mr. Ledue, how are you qualified to do this? Well, beyond being a student of government from undergraduate school right through the last 20 years and paying attention closely, I've got a very clear vision. Our team has put together, hasn't decided to play politics or put out what's a good Democratic agenda, but rather what will make sense. So if you can take the time to go to our website, you'll see we have very specifically defined principles that would be our compass, that are based on the roots of our democracy, and that would be aimed at trying to reclaim the greatness of this country. Very clear goals, and just a few brief policy ideas. I believe we need to create conditions that will empower our people, to stand up on their own 2 feet. But to do that, people need access to health care that is strong and equitable. Our kids need to be able to get through school, all the way through college or trade school, and we need to realize that's the best investment we could possibly make. We need to empower people by paying attention to civil liberties and civil rights and standing up for the Constitution and fighting for it, even when it's unpopular, or even when the rest of the country is running 9/11 scared. We need to remember that the Constitution is the set of rules that we need to play by. We need to empower people by investing in our environment, especially some areas that we don't pay much attention to sometimes, food safety and chemical safety that have been neglected, and as a result our health has suffered. We need to strengthen our communities. The best idea I have there is something I would work for every day, is to shift subsidy priorities from large corporations to our towns. We need to make sure that local agriculture, local clean energy production, local industry that uses local resources is a priority. Because if we don't get loud about it, then the people that collect our tax dollars and get richer and make huge profits are going to keep doing that, and our towns will continue to struggle. Economically, we need to have a stable and sustainable economy that becomes less and less dependent on fossil fuels by leading a green revolution. And we need to recognize we need to do that soon. And the good news, within all the bad news of the economy, is that that opportunity is there, and leading a green revolution and developing new industries will give us a new pathway out of this recession that could get worse. It could get much better if we simply mobilize and grab a hold of this opportunity. We also need to make sure that every import sold in this country is, and I would love to see the platform flank that you clarified, but is green certified and fair labor certified, and we should demand that and recognize that that is good for every other country in the world as well as ours. And profit isn't about just dollars and cents, it's about the overall well-being of all people. Finally, we should lead in partnership with the world. I believe we should leave Iraq, but we should work to develop a multinational peacekeeping force that would help bring stability to that country, which would help them and would help us and save us $275 million a day. And I also believe that we need to lead the world in a climate change accord that would help secure the future for our kids. Because if we don't take care of that issue, many of these other issues aren't going to matter quite so much in 30 or 40 years. I urge you to take a close look at this candidacy. I recognize that the other Tom has already been coronated in many people's minds, and I believe he's a good man. I believe we need a different type of leadership right now, one that's in a hurry, that isn't worried about having a career or serving 5 terms or 3 terms, and one that is in a hurry and is willing to pound the table and say, darn it, we need to pay attention to our people now because they need us. They need us to pay more attention to invest in them. The great news is that in all the issues that we have, and I'll close with this, in every single problem, from foreign policy to economy. There is huge opportunity if we just grab the promise of our ideals and say we're better than this. And we just change our investment priorities just a little bit, we can make a huge difference with our country. That's what I want to go to Washington to do for you and for my kids. Thank you for your time. There's some literature on the back table. TomLedue.com is loaded with a lot of specifics. We'd love to see you there.